let's get into Life is Strange True Colors. So they have been teasing this sort of announcement for the past week or so that they were going to announce a brand new Life is Strange game. And my whole thing was that is this going to be developed by DeckNine or DONTNOD? And it turns out that those rumors were true. So Life is Strange True Colors was announced, and it is being developed by DeckNine. It is going to be a full game release. This is not going to be episodic. You're literally getting one game. You're literally getting one game on September 10th. And yeah, so what are your thoughts on the announcement trailer? Just from everything that we saw with the new characters, the new sort of environment that we're going to be placed in within this Life is Strange 3, if you will.
It's basically Life is Strange 3, but I am liking this a lot more than what they were doing with 2. Obviously it's set back in it's one single town. It looks like just a town in the middle of nowhere, which looks great. The power again is more subtle this time. You could read people's emotions, and it's that plays a part into how you would deal with things, and it affects your character as well. I think that's also really clever. And yeah, I think the game just looks great. I think Deck Nine. I liked Before the Storm. I know some people didn't like it as much, but I honestly like Before the Storm more than Life is Strange 2. So I think the game is also in good hands with Deck Nine. I think they know what they're doing with the license. My only fear is that they don't copy too much from the first game. Hopefully it's not basically just you're in a small town. It looks like it's another murder mystery type thing with your brother. Obviously, you don't know if your brother got murdered. I mean, probably. But they went in the trailer where it's hey, my brother is missing or dead. I can't remember. And I gotta go find out what happened or whatever. So hopefully that's not the same thing with what happened with Rachel, and then that goes into a whole thing. I hope it has its own identity at the end. Doesn't just end up being like that as well. But right now the setup just looks a lot better than 2. I think 2 was a little too ambitious for what it wanted to be, and again, the power I think was just did not complement what the game was trying to be either. Telekinesis just did not complement this sort of adventure, walk and talk type of game at all. It also didn't help that Daniel had the power, or yeah, right? Daniel was the kid?
Daniel.
I can't
Yep.
remember.
Yep.
Yeah,
Daniel.
Daniel. What was the other guy's
Sean.
name? Sean, yeah. And Sean didn't have it. So it felt like it didn't really even matter. You were just a dude. You know what I mean? I know it was supposed to be the relationship with your brother and stuff, but I felt like it didn't really work that well. So I think having the power be a core gameplay mechanic again is going to be really nice, since that only Life is Strange 1 really had that, because Before the Storm also didn't have that because Chloe didn't have anything, and Sean again didn't have any power either. So it's going to be nice to go back to having the power completely in your control and see how that changes your decisions and whatever else. So yeah, I'm definitely am liking this a lot more than Life is Strange 2 or Harry. Just the premise and everything about it. I'm really down with it right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely super looking forward to this, just because, like you said, the premise from Life is Strange 2 is that we got to get to Mexico, which is, pretty much a road trip. Every single episode and every single moment within that game was just dedicated to them moving and constantly changing environments. And, it was probably good on paper with them trying to have this sort of, brotherly relationship where you are trying to teach Daniel how to control his powers. But this time around, I'm sure Deck Nine saw the flaws in that and hopefully listen to some of the fans, because I know that there is a lot of people that really, really love Life is Strange 2, but they probably played it once the full game came out. And not to say that if you played it as it was coming out, where you had to wait 1-2 month gaps, your opinion probably would be different, is pretty much what I'm saying. I'm not going to try to beat around the bush here, but to those people that played the game fully and loved it, sure, that is your opinion. But if you probably played it how me and Damian played it, where as it was coming out, we had to wait month-long gaps for episodes, your opinion would most likely be different. Maybe not. Who knows? You could just be someone else, I'm not going to, get on this high horse right now. But yeah, just how the premise is, how the setup is, the power itself, I think is very interesting. I mean, Life is Strange True Colors, emotions. I think that is very, very clever, because when you show your true colors, you're showing your true emotions, how you're truly feeling. And that sort of power in that aspect of the game looks like is going to play into the gameplay itself, in terms of how decisions are made, whether you allow these good emotions, bad emotions take control of you. And the setup, being in this small town and sort of murder mystery of or just finding out what the hell happened to your brother, I think is going to be very fun. And I cannot wait to go and see who these characters are, how they act and interact with your main character. And yeah, I think that with the title of True Colors also can play with the sort of art aspect, because there are definitely a lot of colors going on here, which I am very much digging. I thought that when I was watching the trailer, the models didn't look all that great, but then again,
Yeah.
this game is probably within early development. And going back to like DeckNine and like their sort of relationship with the Life is Strange series, Before the Storm wasn't that bad. I mean, I think that if they had one more episode, it probably would have been a lot better. But I can understand why people didn't love it as much as Life is Strange 1 or whatever. But definitely, I enjoyed it more than Life is Strange 2, just because it dealt with Chloe and Rachel Amber and their relationship and all that stuff. But with Deck Nine now, I guess confirming to now sort of take control of the series now, because I guess DONTNOD's gonna be doing their own stuff. And yeah, I'm very much eager to go and see what they can do, just because I know that this studio, besides Life is Strange, they did the Ratchet and Clank remake
Yes,
on the
they did.
PlayStation 3.
Yes, they did. I won't forgive them for that.
It was kind of bad, to be honest, but they kind of redeemed themselves with Before the Storm, in my opinion, and I want to see what they can do with brand new ideas, a brand new sort of slate with the Life is Strange series. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on this one. But yeah, no, September 10th, no episodes. I think that is going to be very, very cool.
That's the biggest thing for me. The no episodes thing is like that's so good.
Yeah, and I'm curious if this is going to be like a full $60 game. It probably is.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so that might be a hard bullet to swallow for some people, because this is a sort of interactive story-based driven game, which most of the time when they are episodic, you're paying like $25 for it and wait for the episodes to come out gradually. But now you're going to be paying the full $60 up front, which I'm assuming is to cover the cost that they're doing to make the game entirely up front.
Right. Like this was the business model I prefer. Obviously, looking at this type of game, that's not worth $60. But I'm like, it probably isn't made for everyone. I think it's still pretty niche of what these games are trying to offer, being more story based, like basically not really a video game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind really paying $60 if it's like the whole thing out right now. Like honestly, I much rather prefer this than paying like $20 and then like however much the rest of the series would be when they come out. You know what I mean? I just think it's a better business model. And if there is one thing I like about David Cage, who makes Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, he always releases them like the whole game out at the same time. And I'm happy that we're not doing the episodic thing anymore. Hopefully this just means that model is dead now and we never have to go back to it. Like I was happy when Tell Me Why was also like, it was like a weekly thing. Obviously it still wasn't out at the same time, but I'm like, okay, weekly, that's fine. But now that it's just like a full thing is just out, I much rather prefer that. I think binging these type of things is just way better. It's more fresh on your mind. Having month-long waits, I feel like just hurts the game in general. Like obviously, I didn't think Life is Strange 2 was that great in general, but I feel like it was made even worse waiting that long for the next episode to come out as well. You know what I mean? Like maybe like you said, maybe you would have had a better opinion of that game if you just played it all straight out. But for us, it was pretty like just kind of just felt like a drag. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And with the whole business model of just like releasing the full thing, I think the reason why it worked back then was because of Telltale's The Walking Dead. Like that game popped off. It was so good. A lot of people loved it. It was a lot of people's game of the year when that game came out. And a lot of other studios were looking at that and were like, well, what can we do? What can we do? And when I played Life is Strange 1, I did binge all of the episodes because it was kind of old at that point. And I bought it on the Steam summer sale or whatever for like $5. And I was like, why not? Let's just, see what this is all about. Literally played the full thing that entire day. And I don't regret it just because it was such a good experience and such a good game. But if I played it as it was coming out monthly, my opinion of it might have been a little different. But then again, with the amount of Life is Strange content that is out now, with the comic, sort of fleshing out Chloe and Max's character and how the entire fan base is just centered around those two characters, anyways, Life is Strange True Colors. I think that this is going to be very cool and very, very exciting. The platforms that it is coming out on is PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, PS4, PlayStation 5, and Stadia, and it is coming out later this year on September 10th. So hopefully there's no delays for this one, but if there is, I wouldn't mind it entirely, but definitely very excited to see what the first full experience of a Life is Strange game has to offer, especially from a new studio.
Yep. And I guess they're also doing the Life is Strange Remastered Collection, which will
Yep.
be coming with Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm. And this actually comes with the Life is Strange True Colors Ultimate Edition, and it's also coming standalone as well.
Hmm.
But I don't know like when it's coming out. I believe it's not coming out at the same time because I looked at the PS5 sort of page because that's where I learned it was $60, and I think it said, you get access to the remaster, but I think it comes out at a different date.
Hmm.
Like I'm actually not too sure. I'm pretty sure this doesn't come out at the same time though.
Uh, It might
Maybe it does.
actually.
I don't
I mean,
know.
I'm on the announcement video and it says release date is September 10th. Maybe that's just
Oh, okay.
the release date because it's bundled in with the thing. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
I have
yeah,
no idea.
I'm actually excited for this remake because, if you played Life is Strange 1, that shit crusty as hell.
It is.
And, the performance of that game and how that game looks and the mouth movements and all of this other stuff, that probably turned off a lot of people from actually playing and finishing that game. But me personally, like the story and the characters was just, so good and so cheesy for me that I loved it and was able to play all 5 episodes and, get the full experience of it. But I think with this remaster, I think that this one I'm actually very excited for because I think that Life is Strange 1 in particular definitely needed a remaster sort of treatment. So,
Yeah, especially with like the lip syncing was like really bad. I think in Life is Strange 1. Like I can't
mhm.
really remember because it's been so long. But yeah, the game definitely like shows its age. I think all the Life is Strange games honestly like always look like a generation behind. I mean, you're not really playing it for that anyway, and usually stylized enough so you don't really care. But yeah, it could take you a bit out of the experience if it does look a little too crusty. So yeah, hopefully this remaster is like fixes up and polishes up the game. It's also good for newcomers because obviously Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm are going to be pretty connected to this game since I think 2 characters from Before the Storm are from True Colors as well. Like Stev and whatever the other dude's name is, I can't remember. They
Mhm.
like play D&D with you, I think. I think that I didn't
Yeah.
even remember. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they were from Before the Storm, huh? So yeah, I mean it's probably not gonna be that necessary, but it's cool that for people that haven't experienced the first game or Before the Storm, they can now do it with this collection. I think that's a good thing because I think Life is Strange 1 is definitely worth a playthrough.
Hmm. And going back to I guess these characters that are coming back from Before the Storm. I mean, this is DeckNine we're talking about here. They're like, well, let's try to reuse these characters that they made up within Before the Storm into this new one, which is gonna be very cool to see because it is nice to see sort of the Life is Strange universe sort of interconnect with each other, despite most of the games feeling sort of separate from one another so far.
Yeah, because again, the series is more of an anthology than anything. Like I know everyone wants Max and Chloe in like another game, but I feel like
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like for some series, I think it's okay to have newer characters. It just depends on how good you make them. Like obviously, people are gonna say, "Oh, I like Max and Chloe more than like Sean and Daniel." I'm like, yeah, because Sean and Daniel weren't that good. So hopefully, hopefully this new character, I forgot her name, but this new character in True Colors is also a nice, worthy character compared to like Max and whoever. Like I guess your romantic interest is gonna be like whether the other girl or the dude. So yeah, I don't know how important they're gonna play in the story, but it's gonna be very interesting to see how that turns out as well.
Yeah, according to the description of the True Colors video, it's Alex Chen. So,
Yeah,
she is obviously Asian American. Shout out to them.
Pog.
But yeah, Alex, let's hope that she is, better than Sean and Daniel.
Yeah, I know we dunk on Life is Strange 2 a lot, and it's not like I hate it entirely. It just feels a lot weaker than the first one. That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
Mm-hmm. All right, so